Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
Good morning, happy Monday. Welcome to Run It Back. Boogie is off, but we're only doing 2 shows this week because, well, it's the holidays. We're going to take advantage of that. So, Michelle, Chandler, Lou, Will, we got a lot of basketball to talk about. There was some good basketball over the weekend. It's not very common to sort of take a look back going to Saturday, but I think it's worth it this time around. So let's start with the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oh my goodness, you guys, Thunder can't stop losing. What is this? Anthony Edwards with 26 and 12. Randall had his 19. SGA did finish with 35, 7 and 5, but it was Ant putting on the big show on Friday, hit a 3 to take the lead. Then he had a stop on SGA on the other end. Said he's heard the criticism that he doesn't go for, that he doesn't go for the tie to end games. That was a Gilbert Arenas thing, so we don't have to get too far into it, but here we go. This mentality. I think this is what everyone wants from Ant Chandler. Am I right?
Yeah, this is who he is. And whether you like it or whether you don't, he's an electric, aggressive, super athletic, fun player to watch. And I think he's got that killer mentality. He's got that Mamba mentality. And he's one of the best two-way players in the NBA. And he's got the athletic ability to play efficiently and really, really good on both sides of the balls for years to come. So he's a special player. He's a special personality. For some reason, we kind of like to nitpick that with him because he says a lot of outrageous stuff. He does some funny stuff, but he has that charisma. He's got that star power, and his game does a lot of the talking. When you see him make plays like this down the stretch, knocking off the Oklahoma City Thunder with a huge step back 3, locking in defensively as the best player on your team, the best offensive player. When you see him give that type of effort on the defensive end, it's contagious and it gets everyone else around him. And he's got the capability to be the best two-way player for the foreseeable future. So I love him. I can't sing his praises anymore. I want to continue to see him on a good team. And I think Minnesota's in a good spot. I think they struggled a little bit earlier, but they're starting to find their identity and they're starting to kind of hit their stride. But this kid's special, and he's been special for a couple of years now, and he's only going to continue to get better.
Lou, is he the best two-way player, two-way guard in the league now? Because Chandler just used that word, and I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, why not? You look around the league. He's one of our young up-and-coming stars. We had this conversation about him being the face of the league, being one of the faces of the league, and he's been able to do that on both ends of the ball. These are good quality wins for a team like Minnesota, who's going into the second quarter of the season, and they're trying to find some momentum. They're trying to find something to hang on to that can get them going. Going into that All-Star break when it really starts to get serious. And so, I love the mentality. I love the way that he's going about business. I love the fact that from day one, he never went for ties in these games. That's always been something that we've talked about. So criticism or not from Gil or whoever, this has been his MO from the beginning. And for a guy to say that I'm never going for ties and I'm always going to try to put you to sleep and try to win a basketball game, that comes from the organization. That comes from your teammates having the confidence in knowing this is what's going to go on. That comes from the confidence of your coaching staff knowing that this is what's going on. If they want you to take a 2 for the game, draw up a 2 for the game. Draw up something to get me downhill to get to the rim. But they're drawing up plays or they're giving him the freedom at the end of these games to go out and win them for him. And you love to see that confidence from and going to your best player on the team. So I love the mentality. I love how he's carrying himself.
Yeah, and also
do we hate that? Yeah, exactly.
Don't you want your best player to kind of be fearless and to want the ball and that biggest moment of the game, of the playoffs, of the Western Conference, whatever the stage is, that dude's ready and he wants the ball. So I don't look at it like a knock. Like Lou said, I guarantee you if they get Finch draws up a play to get a backdoor cut and get to the hoop and get to the foul line, he's going to do it. I don't think this comes from a selfish, point. I think it's just whatever the defense gives him, and he's got that killer instinct where he wants to end the game and he thinks he's good enough and he is fearless. It's exactly what I would want in my best star player.
I was trying to think about it as a fan. Like if we have one player on the team that's always just going for it, I guess if he always blows it, maybe it gets old. I'm thinking of like the Detroit Lions, for example. But at the other hand, I really want that to be the case. You're right. I want him to be fearless
You
and
know
go
what
for
else,
it.
Beetle?
And
We can't
what?
care what fans think anyway. So
I
you
know
know what
you
I
guys
mean? Like,
can't. I'm just like, do I like? By the way, Gilbert Arenas, newsflash: we all want to go home. Like all of us, the media covering the game, the refs, everybody wants. We don't want 17 overtime. So that I hate to show you how the sausage is made, but that is facts. We all have lives. Chris Finch showing a lot of passion in this one. I'm gonna need your lip reading abilities to be on full flex here. 6 minutes into this bad boy, he has complained that the Thunder do get officiated differently than the rest of the league, and he said he's not gonna sit back and watch it happen again. Hold him back. Look, that is. Okay. I got 3 of the words. I feel pretty good about that. All right. Does the league see this, you guys? And I'm going to go to you first, Lou. Do they see this? Do they hear him? Do they look at it at all?
No, and coach knows this is premeditated. He came into this game with a chip on his shoulder, with clear messaging that he wanted to get across. Because I'm looking at those 2 plays, those are 2 clean strips. Now, do they look fun? Are guys flailing? Absolutely. But those 2 plays, Hartenstein on the strip on Julius Randle, and I want to say SGA, that was a clean contest on Ant-Man. You know, this is 6 minutes into the game. That tells me this is premeditated. That tells me that you're going into this game with messaging that you want to get across to the league. And, you know, if you stuck around the game long enough, coach, you would see your team ended up shooting 47 free throws in this game.
Whew.
OKC only shot 30, and your best player shot twice as many one of your best players in Julius Randle, he shot twice as many free throws as anybody else that was on the court. So you could tell sometimes coaches go into a game with premeditated ideas that they want to get across to their team against certain teams that they're competing against. And it looked like that was the case for OKC. He probably has had a little bone out for OKC with the way that he feels like they get away with some of the way that they play defense and some of the reach in things and that nature. But I think it's clean. I think they're a very good trained basketball team, and they do that to we even just saw it in Las Vegas. They're one of the best teams at getting their hand on the basketball and being able to strip the ball away. So 6 minutes into the game, you getting thrown out about 2 plays that I look at that maybe you don't have a case on, and then as this game continue on, like I said, you shoot 17 more free throws than the team that you're playing against, trying to make a case about foul calls, and that I just think it was a little premeditated and premature as well.
Yeah, and a lot of coaches do this, right? Like you go in, and a couple interesting things here. Number one, they really responded to this too, and the team kind of rallied around this, and it did light a fire under them. And I think it's in particular, right? They know that we have to go through this team to get to a championship. They know that we're probably going to, if we get there in the Western Conference Finals, this is the team we have to go through. So he wanted to send a message that this isn't acceptable. I don't like the way that they're officiated. And if they are going to do it this way, we want the same calls. And I think they got that, like Lou said, 47. Sorry, my internet's saying it's unstable here.
We know.
It's bad.
You're just kind of glitching, but not horrible. You're here.
Sorry about that. I don't know where I lost you, but I like the way the team responded, and I like them going to light a fire under the best team in the NBA, the team that they're going to have to go through that he thinks is unfairly refed, especially SGA. But guys around the league, they all do this. Anthony Edwards does this. Julius Randle does this. There's a lot of guys that are now have that talent, have that gift to get to the foul line. I have no problem with him doing this, but I really respected and liked the way that responded and were able to pull out this game without their coach.
I think it's a little early. Like how many? I don't know how many more times that you play OKC this year, or let's say you get them in a playoff matchup. You've already burnt your problem. Like you can't get thrown out of any more of these games when you compete against OKC because you don't like the way that they ref. 6 minutes into the game, like I said, you didn't even allow this to play out. So that tells you in the locker room, this was a point of emphasis for this team. He was going to go out and die on his sword and say, I want my team to be refereed differently. And again, it's hard to agree with him or make that case when you see the game pan out and it plays out and you shoot twice as many free throws as the other team. It's almost like, damn, coach, we could have saved that one for when we actually needed it.
Or Lou, may I make the counter argument? The refs heard him. He called them piece of poos. And he went, okay, we're going to ref this differently then. I think it worked.
6 minutes into the game,
Yeah, why
I don't
not?
know. Like you're still getting warmed up. This thing hadn't even got going good yet. So
Oh, it
I
was
don't
good.
know if listen, I don't know if the referees care enough to allow you to shoot 17 more free throws than a team over 3 quarters after you do this. There has to be some type of intention for your team to go out and play an aggressive style of basketball, which Julius Randle does. Anthony Edwards, which he does. They have guys that play an aggressive style of basketball. And for the way that they play, him making this case is I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of premature. But Chandler just said it. Sometimes you have a coach that goes into the game and he's going to tell you pregame what his issues are and what's going to be the point of emphasis for their game. It looked like that was one of them for Coach Finch, and he went out about it. So there it is.
I have a
Yeah.
real quick question, Lou. Do the other coaches know? Like, is this something where he goes, "Hey guys, I'm about to"? Because used to think this with Pop. Like, do the other coaches know the players don't, or does he just on his own go, "I'm going to do something awesome"?
I'm pretty sure the players know. I don't think they know that he's going to go out and get himself thrown out of this game halfway into the quarter. But I do know that pregame, this is a point of emphasis. This is something that was being talked about. I'm sure they've sent inquiries and complaints to the league. I'm sure he complained to his team pregame, going into the scouting report, going over this game. These are the type of things that's discussed. Now, I don't think he said, "Look, guys, I'm gonna get thrown out of this thing. I'm gonna need y'all to rally around me." I don't think that was the case. I think he got triggered and he let it all, he let the referees have it and he let it all go at that moment.
It's like I'm about to crash out. By the way, it's nothing like when your
There you
team
go.
gets
The
under.
classic
It's like
crash out.
classic. Under new management. That is basically what we're looking at in Minnesota, and nothing said that more than the news last week that came out that Kevin Garnett. Yep, his jersey will finally be retired up in the rafters. He's also, on top of that, going to have a role with the organization. Lou, I haven't heard a single person say a negative thing about this. As a matter of fact, it's about damn time, is basically the thought that I've heard over and over again. What'd you make of this?
I'm happy for it. Actually had an opportunity to spend some time with KG this past Friday. We spent a few hours together, and I asked him about it, and we had a chance to discuss it. And he said the timing was right. This is a great opportunity, and the timing was right for him to get back involved in the organization. And not just that, his focus is on community and content. As you can see, he's killing it in the content world, in the internet world with the shows and all of the things that he's panning out. He wants to bring some of that magic to the Minnesota Timberwolves and see if he can light a fire under the organization and the fan base and give them an extra spark that they need. And also, we know who KG is as a philanthropist and what he's done in communities as far as community works goes. So he just wanted to be more vocal, wanted to be visual, wanted to be somebody that you could see in the community and that you can feed off of and use his energy, because he's an energetic guy and he's going to bring all of that energy with him and behind any project or anything that he sees fit. And he felt like the time was right to do it in Minnesota with new management, new ownership, and him being welcomed back in the city. So congratulations to 21 for getting his jersey up. But more than that, like I said, he told me that his focus was to get back into the communities and to also bring more and more attention when it comes to content and having more of a footprint in that space, having more of a footprint in a digital space as well when it comes to the Timberwolves. So shout out to KG for that.
Yeah, I think teams across the league miss out on not hiring guys like this with that respect, with that kind of impact that player had within that organization. I mean, look, franchise leader in points, assists, steals, blocks. Like, when you think of the Minnesota Timberwolves, you think of Kevin Garnett. So I think this is a great, great hire to have that kind of voice in the locker room, to kind of have that player that everyone respects and knows as a Minnesota Timberwolf. I think this is a great hire, and I think a lot of teams should take a page out of this book and kind of go get some of those guys that have such an impact and respect and clout within that organization.
Sometimes you got to wait for the bad guy to leave, and then you're welcome back. And I love that for him. That was Friday. Saturday, we also had a fun one. I do love a good old-fashioned Kevin Durant troll job, and here we go. Rockets and Nuggets. This is a big one for Houston. 115-101. KD with 31, 6, and 5. Amen Thompson finished with 16. Reed Shepherd, Chandler, your guy. 28.6 assists. Jokic. There he is. He's fine. Just a late bloomer, but he's here. All right, Lou. Houston 3-1 when Reed Shepherd scores 20 or more points. That's a stat. look, we've kind of been waiting to see what he's all about. He does have a bigger role, and it seems like it's working out. Is this their sixth man?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if I'm him, I'm taking pride in that job and knowing and reading the room and seeing what I got. I got Kevin Durant and Sengun as the best players on his team. Where can I be a standout? Where can I make a difference? It's shown itself for him to be able to do that coming off the bench and being their sixth man. You know, he's only scored in double figures once in the 4 games that he has started, but he's 3-1 when he comes off the bench and he has 20 plus. So the numbers don't lie. You know, men lie, women lie, the numbers don't. This is a great look for him. This is a great opportunity for him to build on this role. Now, I wouldn't say this is the end-all, be-all for a talent like Reed Shepherd, but on this particular team, this role, it works for him. And if I'm him, I'm taking pride in it, and I'm giving myself a realistic opportunity to try to go out and compete and win a Sixth Man of the Year award. You know, this is a role for him to expand on. He's playing, you know, more minutes than he has before, but at 13.5 points on the season, coming off the bench and being impactful, I just say you just grow on it, man. Grow on it. Now that you have all these 20-point games, every time you go out, that should be a goal of yours. Every time I come in the game, be impactful. I got the green light to shoot whatever I want to shoot and do whatever I want to do on the offensive end. Take advantage of it, man. Shout out to him.
I mean, even yesterday he was plus 17. Go ahead.
There's no doubt this kid can hoop. He's a top pick in the draft. He's highly touted. Like he's a little bit slow, on a step slow defensively, but offensively, this kid's got game. He can shoot the ball. He can distribute. And he's really, with Fred out right now, he's exactly what the Rockets need with that true setup kind of point guard guy when Thompson's not in there kind of running the show. So the kid's got game. I think with more minutes, more opportunity, he's going to continue to get better. His numbers are going to continue to go up, but he's fearless too, almost too fearless sometimes with kind of the shot selection he has. And I think that gets him in trouble a bit, but he's going to be a good player in this league for sure.
All right, let's get to Kevin Durant. Just all night, just trolling. Third quarter, he and Bruce Brown had some words. Afterwards, Bruce said, "There's just some things you don't say to another man," and he wishes there was fighting in the NBA. And KD confirmed that he wanted to cross that line, that it's part of the game. I love that we got this looks like a rivalry build to me. I like the beginning stages of it, Chandler. First of all, how much do we love this Kevin Durant?
I love when he
God, he looks so happy. He's so happy.
But everything he's done his career, still having this much fun, talking much trash. Unbelievable. I see it. And I love the rivalry. I love that San Antonio and OKC have this young kind of future chippy going on that's kind of unspoken. I love that these teams right now are currently competing for a with a bunch of vet guys on their team, but I love to see Kevin Durant like this, and I don't want to be the end of it because you never want to poke the bear. He's usually the bear.
Hey, Chandler, KD ain't going to get me. He was in Denver. He found a nice strand that he liked, and he was in his bag. You're not going to get me. I know what that looked like.
He looks like a happy kid out there.
He's elated. I'd never seen him dance before. That was the first time I've ever seen him dance.
That was great.
I've been competing against Kevin Durant since 2003, high school on, and I've never seen him do that before. I love it.
I loved everything about that. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We got guests today, you guys. You're not going to want to go anywhere. We will come back on the other side with Kevin Ollie. We'll be back.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
Feel like a legend today. Kevin Ollie. I know I can play. Kevin Ollie. Yeah! He did it! That's something to say.
All right, 13 years in the league. What a championship at UConn. Kevin Ollie is here. First of all, good morning. Thank you for joining us bright and early.
Good morning, Michelle. Thank you for having me, and you're doing a great job, and I always want to present you with your flowers and the way that you've done everything that you've done in your life. So it's a blessing being on the show with you and also the fellas here.
Thank you so much. Okay, now I'm sweating. Okay, we're gonna get to all things you in a second, but I'm not gonna start with the fact that you were Lou's vet when he came in the league, baby Lou. So what was he like walking into the league?
Lou was great. Lou came straight out of high school, and I loved his enthusiasm for every day. I know he was impressionable. We had some great characters on our team, like AI and Blue and all that. But I just want to always keep him in the gym and keep the main thing the main thing. with Lou. And I think greatness is finding out and bringing out something great in someone else, and not just yourself. So I knew Lou was coming in to take my minutes. But at the end of the day, you got to put that stuff to side and say, man, how can I help this young man? How can I support him? How can I bring out the greatness in him each and every day? And that's by competing against him, but then also telling him the truth. And me and Lou had a great relationship and still have a great relationship. I just commend him on the man he became, all the things he did on the basketball court, but most importantly, the man he became off the basketball court. And it means a lot to me to be here with him, and I'm honored.
Yep. And I appreciate that, KO. And to expand on that, KO was the vet that I needed. I didn't realize that I needed a vet like that until you look back when your career is over and you know the impact that you have on young guys and you're able to pass that down. KO was the vet that kept me in chapel. He not only did he keep me in chapel, he would make me go down and get my brother from the family room and get him into chapel. And it made me work. Anytime that I thought I was done, we would get an extra 15, 20 minutes of work in. And not only that, we played some ones, we competed against each other, and he did everything necessary to make sure, like you said, a young, impressionable mind being around some of the personalities that I was around. You know, it showed me some things what not to do and a lot of things what to do. And KO was that vet for me. So I appreciate that as well, KO. Thank you. But speaking of one of those guys, I want to ask
Louis,
you. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead. I say you always, and sometimes you're too close to a problem, brother. Sometimes when you look behind it, and after you get through it, now you can see what you was there for, what was the mission there. But those was great times, and to experience those times with you and those great Philadelphia 76ers teams, and Michelle and CP. I've been on 12 different teams, and I thank God for every time that I was granted a different team and a different experience, because I was able to shed a new light on the team, but then also have good experience with friends I call life friends to this day. So it's been a great opportunity for me to be that super vet, that whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I wanted to compete as well.
Absolutely. And Kay, I want to ask you about the Sixers. Long before I got there, in 2001, you were part of that group that made the historic run to the finals. And we talked about teammates and we talked about my other vets, and AI was one of those. I want to ask you, what was it like being involved in that team and watching him blossom into the MVP and making that finals run in that year that you were there with him as well?
Man, it was just a great experience. Like I said, like me and AI competed against each other in the Big East. So Georgetown, UConn. So I'm coming in there. I'm like, man, I like AI, but I don't like AI, because we competed when those Big East days came in. But just to see him, what he did every day, from a standpoint of getting his body ready, AI about 150, 160, soaking wet. So, and he was competing against Shaq. He was competing in how he played every game like it was his last. And I'll always remember, Lou, every time I'm playing probably about 6 minutes, 7 minutes a game. But I wanted to play those minutes so hard and get the respect of Larry Brown. But every time AI used to come out. AI used to come out. And I was like, man, this dude is pissed at me every time. Every time his face is all mad. But that just showed how competitive. AI wanted to play 48 minutes. It was never take me off the court, coach. And he played a game to the greatest ability. He energized our team. We knew we had a leader that we can count on and trust in the moments of truth each and every game. And then we just all fell in our place. And I think that's what great teams do. We all knew our roles. We was out there to make him and create the environment that can make him succeed. Us playing defense and us having Larry Brown as a coach, he just got something out of us every day. Even if that was 5-on-5, 3-on-3, those days we used to practice, and he got everything out of the players, and he knew how to connect. And I think that just led us to a remarkable run against LA in the finals, against the Lakers in the finals. But even before to get into the finals, playing in the Eastern Conference Championship, playing that Toronto Raptors team, that was a hell of an experience to go through, and that run was unbelievable. And I thank everybody that gave me them opportunities to go out there and compete each and every day.
Absolutely. And you look around the league now, and you see guys with cornrows, dreads, tattoos.
Yes.
It's almost second nature. The dress code, all of these things come from AI and the culture shift that he had on the NBA's culture. Can you speak to who he was as not only a basketball player, but the culture shift that he was a part of in the NBA and how the way that these young guys can go out and be themselves and show who they are as a person unapologetically now in the NBA?
Yeah, I love that, Lou. You got to meet them where they at. And AI was like, you're going to meet me where I'm at. You can't make me into somebody different. I'm going to be AI. I'm going to be who I am. But every day I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out and I'm going to be myself. But every day you can trust me to get out there and do the different things I need to do to lead this organization. But he was unapologetic for who he was. He's one of my, and people ask me, who's your greatest team? I say he's one of my greatest teammates. And it wasn't just the basketball, it was him off the court. You know, our best times, Lou, was on the bus, you know, on the plane rides. You know what I'm saying? This dude would draw pictures of Tyrone Hill and draw pictures of me and draw pictures of you, man. The talent that this guy had, not just on the basketball court, but off the basketball court. This dude sing Michael Jackson like Michael Jackson. So we on the bus, the camaraderie we had on the bus and the team, it went way beyond basketball. And you just have to be in that NBA and you have to be in that brotherhood to really understand it. That's where real teams are formed. It's on the bus, it's in the back, it's playing card games, it's being there for each other, and not only being there for each other on the basketball court, but being with each other there in family and in crisis and different things like that. Man, if I had a flat tire on 76, AI picked me up in one of his Bentleys. Not send one of his boys. You know he had about 5 Bentleys, different colors. He was gonna pick me up in my Bentley. Not saying that happened, but that's the kind of character that he had. And I just love that about him. And he's one of my favorite teammates. Besides you, Lou, he's one of my favorite teammates ever.
That's awesome. I got to ask that from that series in particular, one of the most iconic moments in NBA history, let alone that series, was the Ty Lue step over. What was your reaction? Did you guys just go nuts at this? Because it still to this day is one of the coldest moments in NBA history.
Yeah, it's one of the coldest moments, one of the coldest moves. We've seen that, you know, throughout the whole year. CP of him doing that, Chandler of him doing that on different players. But, you know, just to do that and then just step over him, it looked like he just stepped over him in slow motion. And the bench went crazy. The Staples Center went crazy, man, because AI was really like Michael Jackson back then. I mean, like, if you really wanted to see a superstar, people like, you've been around superstars. I was like, no, AI was a superstar. Everybody came and showed out. When the bus pulled up, when the bus pulled into a hotel, when the bus pulled up to the arena, he was a superstar. And being a superstar, you have to have that role. Everybody can't do it. Some people are pushed into that superstar role, but it has to come naturally. And he was known for the big moments, and that was the biggest moment ever to be on that stage. And we won one game, and that was the only game the Lakers lost that playoff season, them series. But we got one, and I was getting my ring fitted. I'm over there dancing. I was like, man, we about to get a ring. But we woke up two monsters, and they won the next 4. But just to be in that moment, to share that moment with all my teammates. And I'm from LA. I grew up in Crenshaw. I grew up in the Crenshaw district, went to Crenshaw High School. To come back and to play on that stage and to be on that basketball court at that moment was a beautiful thing for me. And it just shows you hard work pays off. No matter where you come from, you can be on those stages, but you got to be ready for the moment. And the habits that you create and the habits that you do each and every day really forms who you are. So it starts with the habits, and we had the habits, and we gave AI that opportunity to have those iconic moments. And he lived and he delivered each and every time.
And KO, now you also played with another Hall of Famer in Philly, the legendary Dikembe Mutombo. And it's hard to put into words what he meant, but how infectious was his personality? Like, what kind of impact did he have on you personally? Because Dikembe was the man.
He was the man. He changed the weather. Wherever the weather was, if it was gloomy, if it was a sad day, man, D could come in, man, hey, what's going on? He just changed the weather with his personality, what he did off the basketball court. He was one of my vets. He showed me, the charity things, the charitable things that he was doing each and every day. And it was just not about basketball. But when he got on the court, man, what a defender, how he talked in that back line, gave us all confidence to be on the perimeter. And if we made a mistake, we knew Deke was going to be right there. And it was just funny how, after the All-Star break, we traded Theo Ratliff. I think Coach Brown was coaching Dikembe, and then after the All-Star break, back in the day, players used to switch. I mean, they still do this day, but to have Dikembe for that run is what we needed. Nothing against Theo Ratliff, was a great player, but from an organization, Larry Brown thought that's what we needed to get to the finals, and just to be around that man, and then call him a brother, call him a friend. Rest in power to Deke. He was just a affectionate man that gave me a lot of wisdom on each and every day in the locker room and life. And sometimes it's not about what a person says, it's about his actions. And you can learn so much about a person's just watching his actions. And I thank God for having me have the opportunity to be in the locker room and be in some great moments with Deke and see his leadership and see his careness for others that made him the most successful person, I think, from a charitable standpoint in the NBA. I mean, he was just a great individual.
Man, actions do speak very loudly. You weren't lying, though, by the way. Every stop you've made, you've had some pretty cool experiences. You've been front row from some awesome observations, including LeBron entering the league in Cleveland. I'm always so curious about guys that were in the room when that dude walked into this league. Like, how long before you kind of knew? I mean, there was a lot of hype, but before you actually saw it and thought, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I got it first time. When we get our physicals, at Cleveland Clinic, I don't look at people's chests and hair chests, but at 17 when he came to the league, the boy had hair chests. I'm like, oh Lord have mercy. This dude is a grown man already. I don't look at other people's chests, but I just was like, this man is grown. And he was just mature over his age, and he had the right people around him. And that's what I always love about LeBron. He had the right people around him. He was an empty cup, but he worked hard. And I remember our first game in Sacramento, coming in and he dropping, I believe it was 29 points, and just on that stage and all the hype and how mature he was for the moment, and his emotional intelligence was way beyond a rookie coming into the league with all the hype, being on Sports Illustrated at 17 and all the social media and all those different things that a lot of players like myself didn't have the opportunity to grow up in, and just to be in a beacon of light, being one of the greatest players to ever lace them up. It was just amazing ability of him to win on a level, to have the stats that he have, but just always being socially minded about who he is and people looking up to him and how he carries himself on a day-to-day basis. It's been wonderful to watch, and to see him still playing to this day is remarkable.
That's the crazy
Hey,
part.
I want to ask you, to speak to the young guys and even the fans that don't understand. You've played on 11 different organizations throughout your career, and the fans think we just get to live the good life and travel around and play basketball. It also has its ups and downs. I want to know how tough it is for you, from going to city, trying to make a lasting impact on an organization when you might not know what's next in our journeys. Can you speak to that, to how challenging it is to play for an organization and trying to make an impact and not knowing what's coming next?
See, Lou, that's a great question. I like to look at the word, when you said toughness, that don't bring nothing out inside of me. But when you came back and said challenging, even that brings out the championship opportunity in me. So even with you saying challenging, it wasn't tough. It was just a challenge. So every place I went to was a championship opportunity to show who I am, how I was built. And when I got cut, it wasn't a coffin for me. I think when we go through bad situations, they think it's a coffin. It's really a classroom for you to learn. It's a moment where you can go through a test so you can have a testimony. And I truly believe that. And every stop I made was great. I had my family early on, and each stop, I played for 5 different teams my first 2 years. But every stop I learned something. And of course it was painful because everybody sees, the money, the fame, and all these different things. But it's painful moving your family. It's painful to say you're not good enough, we want to move on. But it's also, when you go through that pain, are you receiving a payment from it? And every time I received a payment from it, and it wasn't monetarily, it wasn't a check that I got every 2 weeks. It was the pain of, all right, I'm getting more focused. All right, it's a pain of, I'm trusting myself in these members. It's a change, or I can go into any arena and I can change the weather. I can change the climate. I can change the team. And I had a great opportunity to do that with Oklahoma City, one of my favorite organizations. Seeing a young Kevin Durant and a young Russell Westbrook and a young James Harden, how those guys played, and just being around those guys and influencing them to do the right things. Because toughness is easy. It's doing the next thing right. Can you do it? The next thing right. And I always wanted to do that. Growing up, I was always known as always working. So I always wanted to bring that. I wasn't the most talented guy. Wasn't the tallest, wasn't the fastest, but I was going to outwork you. I was going to touch every line on the suicide. I was going to touch every line on 17. And that just taught me the low man wins. If you can get low and you can keep digging, sooner or later your fruits are going to blossom. And that's what I always believe in every organization. And I brought that with every organization. It was just my actions and my habits. And, just to see you guys and having a little bit of a pebble on the beach in y'all career, and y'all can go back and say, man, KO was always there for me. That means the world to me. And I thank every opportunity I got to plant a seed. Maybe I didn't see it grow, but I planted the seed and somebody else was able to water it and see it grow. But I always wanted to plant that seed.
Man.
Look at Chandler's gonna run through walls right now.
I'm just like just from this interview alone, you just planted a seed with me.
That's my vet right there. That's why I am the way I am.
By the way, I cannot let you go. I know you're doing developing housing across different states. What is that? What are you doing? And
I'm doing affordable housing. I have two great mentors, in Craig Livingston with Exec Capital and Don Peoples with People Corporations, and it's a crisis in America with housing. And it's not just the assisted housing; it's the middle class. Young entrepreneurs, UPS workers, people that make these cities go. It's hard for them to find clean, decent, efficient housing, and that's what we're doing. Right back in Lou's backyard in Atlanta, we just opened up a 250 affordable housing unit right in Peoplestown, right off of Hank Aaron Drive, and people are in there. They're loving it, right by the Beltline. And Andre Mayor Dickens has given us, a lot of opportunity to build and help the housing crisis. So it's affordable housing. It's giving people opportunities to live. And when you live and you got a decent house to go to, it allows you to have financial freedom. And that's what we really want to do. We want to do well and do good at the same time. And I got two great mentors, and I love in the real estate development part of it. It's like building a team, and it's doing something cautiously, social cautiously in America. And that's what we want to do. It's attainable housing, it's affordable housing, and we're giving people the opportunity to open up their doors and have a sanctuary where they can call their own and not have to worry about $4,000 rents each and every month that a lot of people can't afford. So just really serving the underserved middle class with affordable housing.
Sanctuary is the word. By the way, you're too good a person. I can't even make fun of the fact that you made yourself upside down for that part of that interview. I got nothing.
Oh, okay.
You're too good. You're too good. Kevin Ollie, you are awesome. You've inspired us this morning. We appreciate the time. Hope you'll come back at some point.
All right, I will. Thank you for having me. Love you guys. Great job what you're doing. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Quick break. Corey Kispert on the other side.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
Corey, deep three. Oh, yeah! Here we go! Corey Kispert is nice! The fight's about to begin!
So many uniforms. 5th year in the league. Corey Kispert from the Wizards joining us now. That is like so many uniforms in a quick clip. Is that a Catan game behind you? What is happening right now?
You bet it is.
Oh my God.
And I'm glad you guys picked that up. That's big time.
How many hours have you spent on that game before you even get to the basketball?
Countless, and multiple tables flipped, temper tantrums, all that. Yeah, it's one of the best games ever.
Clearly,
I'm a big gamer. I have never even heard of Catan.
No, this
Really?
is like sitting at a table game. Like
This is board
this is
games.
not videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old
I
school,
want
baby.
in. If it makes me flip a table, I want in.
It'll get you there.
We're
It'll
gonna
get you
do a
there.
Catan. We're gonna do a whole thing. By the way, but everything else, how's the thumb? How's rehab going? Like, how much longer do you expect to be out?
Yeah, the thumb's doing well. Surprisingly, like quick recovery for how like I mean it's a broken bone, and so I didn't really know what to expect. But things are going really really well. I've gotten in fives in practice, threes, live shooting, all of that. So I'm expecting a really quick recovery from today. Only a few more days, I think.
Yeah, Corey, in that game that you got injured, you had 19 points in that one, and you guys were able to break a 14-game losing streak. Tell me the mentality of the team when you're going through the challenges of a season like this. Like, did you guys enjoy that win at all, or is it more of a sigh of relief in trying to build on that win and continue to go?
Yeah. Did we enjoy that win? Like, of course we did. After 14 games. Yeah, I mean, we're scrapping and clawing right now for everything, and to come out hot like that and actually finish the game, we're actually really good in the first quarter as a team, and we tend to let go of the rope pretty quickly. And so the emphasis we've had over the last, I guess month and a half has just been to not let go of the rope and continue fighting. I was hurt. We won a game in Memphis 2 nights ago that we were down by 20 in the second quarter. And those are the kind of games that build confidence as a team, especially in the position that we're in as an organization. Lou and Chandler, like you guys know, those kind of games just happen to fall into your lap. You could be down 20, but if you just keep playing and you keep playing hard and you keep working with each other and you don't let go, oftentimes those games kind of get a lot closer without you even expecting it.
Yeah, and you guys have quietly won 2 of the last 4, and you see the leaps made from Sar and from George. Do you see this team kind of trending in the right direction, approaching the new year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what this is all about, is trending in the right direction. We have a lot of guys who are, not even old enough to drink yet, and they're playing and they're growing and they're developing. And so trends is the perfect word for it. Things like I mentioned of, not letting go of the rope, playing hard on defense, paying attention to your scouting report and executing our coverages. Like, those are the things that really matter, that when guys get experience and have games under their belt, are really going to, pay off down the road. And so, yes, 2 of the last 4, a lot better offensively, a lot better defensively, like numbers wise. Those are things we look at to kind of project ourselves out into the future.
Yeah, and you're talking about the small things that's necessary to get on the right track, and you're one of the longest tenured guys with the Wizards right now. What do you think from your point of view? What does it take to get you guys back on track to be a playoff contending team?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with any rebuilding organization, unfortunately, for going through those losses over and over again, it's time, and there's no way to really escape that. Every organization that's in a rebuild needs time, and so that's part of it. That's number one in the equation, and it's building the right habits. It's translating them to the court. We can be perfect in practice. We can look like all-stars in practice and try to build those habits when we're in the gym and get working on your game and putting in those hours by yourself. But that has to translate onto the court. So when we're going through periods of time where we're losing, multiple games in a row, or we lost a couple close ones, or maybe we ran off a couple wins in the stretch, like, the habits need to remain the same. And we have to all challenge each other and ourselves, like 1 through 15, to continue to push and continue to, build and grow. Like, this season's so long and there's easy to have lulls and ups and downs. But the habits are what you maintain throughout all of it. And, through these games where you're building and you're growing in a couple of summers, this team can look completely different. We've been in this rebuild process for, maybe a year and a half, 2 years now. So I think the clock is ticking a lot faster than what people think. And I think this team can turn it around a lot quicker than people think too.
Corey, switching gears here a little bit. I'm a huge coffee fan, and I see you're launching your own coffee brand. There it is, baby.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about that. How does an NBA player get into the coffee business?
Yeah, it kind of all started by at random. I've spent the last couple of years of my career kind of just thinking about ways that I can fill my time, hobbies. What am I interested in? What do I like to do off the court? And coffee is a huge one of those pillars. I love to drink it. I drink 4 to 6 cups a day, probably.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy
And
crap.
sorry. Yes, like might as well put some energy into it if I'm going to drink it all day and, make some money off of it rather than pay other people for theirs. And it's been something that's been on the back burner for a really long time. And now that I feel like I'm kind of at a point in my career where I have 2 feet settled in the NBA, I feel like I know who I am. I know what kind of player I am. I know what kind of player I can be. I'm not just solely focused on being an NBA player and sticking. It felt like a really good time to transition and focus my energy somewhere else. And so the coffee company has been in the works for a while now. My business partner, he has a few coffee shops and a roastery in Spokane where I went to school. And he reached out to me in the middle of at the end of the season last year, and asked if I had any interest in working with him in any capacity. And through a bunch of meetings and talking with him, we kind of came up with this idea to start my own thing. And he's going to be roasting my beans for me and kind of doing the marketing and the building and the growing kind of on my own. So it's a lot of hands-on stuff. Really putting a lot of work into it. And I'm really proud of what's to come. We're on track to launch and actually start selling beans at the end of January. So awesome. We're on the right track and we're on the final stretch.
Roasting my beans just sounds funny. I'll be using that for the rest of the day, Corey, and I appreciate it. By the way, hurry back. Come back because we have 1,000 more questions for you, but we don't have the time, and so we're going to have you back ASAP. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it, Corey.
Ever call me ma'am again. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
I mean, it's almost like the Clippers are sick of hearing about how bad they are. Because they played the Lakers, they got out to a big lead, and that was kind of it. They snapped that losing skid with a big win, 103-88. And yes, people were playing. Kawhi, Harden, LeBron had a season-high 36. I give up trying to predict things, Lou, but does this feel like perhaps this is something they could build on and switch things up?
Let's see. That was a quality win. They got to grow on this win and try to run off as many as they possibly can. But small wins are worth talking about. I think this is a good one for them to have, especially beating the Lakers team and holding them under 90 points. Defensively, that's something that you can hang your hat on and be proud about. Let's see how they build on it from here.
Yeah, this is the team that we thought we were going to see, right? They have too much talent. They have too much experience to be having the season they are, but they're still a team. So bad loss for the Lakers, great loss for the Clippers, but now the big fella's out for a couple of weeks. Gonna help.
Yeah, that one is not good. Also, it's been hot. Like, I don't know. You guys don't listen to sports talk radio. I listen to it all day long. They get crushed on a daily. Ty Lue gets crushed on a daily. And I don't know if this is enough to quiet that Lue, maybe for a day or two. But what do you think happens next?
Well, let's see. When you're having a season like this, everybody is open to criticism, and you're going to pick a team apart when they're underperforming, especially with the roster that they have. So that's fair. But let's see what happens. This is a good win. Let's see where they go from here.
That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow. The show of your life. See you then.
Run it up, run it back, run it back, run it back, run it